Alright, welcome back here to the channel. As you can see, we're still planting milo. We finally got started on our dry land. This is the second field we were doing. We got our circle done at the house, and we're gonna do this. Then on this same section, we have another strip just a little ways down the road. And then to the north, we have two more fields that we'll do. They're all all three wheat stubble like this field. And then after that, we're gonna go do the second and last circle of irrigated milo. As you can see, I'm filling up with fertilizer. This is a mile long strip. I've been able to do about 8 passes. This last one I wasn't able to because I wasn't completely level where I filled up, so I didn't get quite as much in. But that's what we're doing for today. So stay tuned and watch along. I hope you enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Alright, I apologize if the noise isn't the best. But anyways, got it filled up and I'm back here where I'm on the line. But anyways, what we gotta do is we gotta turn this valve here. And so what that does is that allows the fertilizer to flow down into here and then go through that hose. It's hooked up to where you really only need to open one valve, but we still open them both. And then there's this valve here. And so now what we will do, back up in the cab, what we gotta do, we gotta press this hydraulic forward, and that runs the fan right there. And that's what helps suction the seed down into the discs to help them drop. So now, as you can see, I'm somewhat on the line, so I'll start to pull forward. Then I'll be able to engage it. Then we hit this remote, and it drops the planter down. And then we can get up to speed. And that's kind of what we have to do in order to get started and get back going. So for those that have watched some of the earlier videos, I did a video is about odd jobs, and what I was doing was back in March, maybe start of April, I was going around with our chisel plow. If you are interested in the video, I'll leave a card to that video up on the top corner of the video. But we were going around, and to these spots right here are legumes from wheat harvest. I was going through and running the chisel plow over them to kind of beat them down. Our plan was to go over where these ruts were from the combines, because a lot of them were fairly deep. However, some other things came up and we didn't have time to get to that. So, I mean, it's not terrible, we just have to slow down. As you can see, pretty miserable right in here. But we just gotta slow down and go over them pretty slow. It will probably affect our stand a little bit, but this is just kind of what we have to work with. It hasn't been too terribly awful, just a little more of an annoyance. As you can see, the planter gets through it fine. This is one of the worst fields. Like I said, our plan was to run a disc over them, really smooth it out. Probably would have been great, but we got busy right before planting between getting the planter ready and actually doing some of the farming. So we weren't able to do that. Like I said, it's working fine, just a little bit of an annoyance. We only have, I think, 4 fields. Yeah, 4 fields that we'll have to deal with this, but overall it's gonna be fine. We'll get through it still. Lagoon here, I'm getting pretty well past it. There's a little bit more there, be about 32 feet, so 2 more passes and I'll be through it. A little bit right in here, and then some up there. Then I'll be done with this lagoon. But then there is a bigger one up there, just kind of over the hill. I think I'm getting close to being done with that one too, and then that'll be it for this field. The next field we'll be planting on, it'll either be tonight or tomorrow morning. See what happens with this field. But it's got a few, it doesn't have hardly any compared to this one, and they're not as deep. So that's pretty nice. But then there's two wheat stubble fields to the north that there's one real big lagoon that it's got tracks all through it. So that'll be a little rough, and on top of that, planting against the way the tracks are. So like right here, we're planting east and west. But on that field, we're gonna be planting east and west also, but the tracks and ruts from the combines ran north and south. So we'll have to see how that goes. That'll probably be a little rough compared to this, because a lot of the tracks is either angled or with the way we're planting, so that wasn't too terrible. The next lagoon here, and as you can see, there's a little bit out that way that'll extend into the next pass, and that should be about it. Then there's a little up here, but then after that, that'll be all, and it'll be much smoother sailing from now. But we do have to slow down because they are fairly rough, and like right here, it runs against the way we're planting. But another thing that is kind of happening because of this, probably won't do it now since I'm recording, but when we are going through these softer spots, there is still quite a bit of residue and stalk or wheat stubble there. And what is happening is it's kind of winding up in the row cleaners, and it kind of plugs up. It's not a big deal, just have to lift up, back up, and go again. It hasn't done it too many times, but overall everything is working pretty good. It might be kind of hard to tell through the video, I'm not sure, but we do have the row cleaner set somewhat aggressively. As you can see, like right here, it is getting through into the ground, so we should have some pretty good contact with the seed in the ground. There are times it's working really good, and like right now there's 3 or 4 rows that are actually planting in between the wheat stubble rows, so that's really helping. And it's also leaving the stubble standing, so like right in there, the stubble kind of got pushed over and laid down on the ground. Unfortunately, that won't really cover the ground as much. I mean, it's not terrible, but like when you have it standing like it is here, and if you can get the rows to go in between, it's gonna leave this stubble standing, and it should provide some decent cover for the crop once it kind of gets growing. Then that'll help shade the ground and keep the moisture longer, therefore helping the plant, because more moisture will be available to the plant. On some of the fields, 3 of the fields we're going to be planting this year, they were harvested with a different header. The people that farmed it before used a stripper header, so it's going to have some taller stubble. We will have to run our row cleaners a little more aggressive to help clean it, but we should be able to work fine. I don't know. I think we should be able to get to those next week. Dad wants to get this field done, and then the field that is over there, you probably can't even see it, but dude, this field, which I'm a little over halfway done with, and then hopefully tonight we'll be able to get started on that other one. Then we have 2 more fields to the north. The reason he wants to get those done is because they're a share crop. So right now I'm out here kind of looking at the planter, because as I was going, the monitor started beeping saying rows 2 and 4 were failing, so that means they weren't, theoretically that means they weren't planting. I went back, nothing was blocking the seed tubes, and as you can see, right there's a seed in row 2. See if I can find another one. There's another seed there. Then here in row 4, I was looking, and there's also a seed there and a seed here. So I don't know why it's saying that, if something just happened in the monitor or what, but I guess I'll keep going and see if it does anything else. I guess I'll call Dad and see what he thinks. Then as soon as he can, if it doesn't work anymore, he'll have to come down and see if we can figure out what is wrong. I'm not sure what was wrong, why those two said they're failing all of a sudden. We have plenty of seed in there. We have more than enough seed to finish this field, and I'm only a little ways over halfway done. And like I said, nothing was blocking the tubes, but now they're working fine and planting where they should be. So I don't know, whatever it was, it solved itself, I guess. Sometimes the strangest things happen when you're planting. So this looks like some sort of hook off of a chain, and what had happened is on this row number 3 in there, it kept plugging up, and it was plugging up in front of the row cleaners. So I thought that something was going on with the row cleaners, and I cleaned them out and started going, and it started digging a trench again. What happened is in this little slot right here, it ran perfectly into the fertilizer discs, fertilizer openers, and got wedged up in between, or those got wedged up in between them, and it then caused those to stop, and that's what this here was caught on those deals pretty tight, and it wasn't letting them turn. So don't know, who knows how long this has been out here. Could have been a year or two, or don't know how long it could have been out there. What he did is, this is a pickup that we normally pull the fertilizer tank with. What he did is, this year is behind that building, but we have 2 cone tanks that I think he said is 4,600. I'm not sure. We just got them from the co-op where we get the fertilizer, but that got empty the last time I filled up, so he came and filled that up so I could keep going. Right, so I got another refill. I got them pretty dang full, probably about as full as we can get them. But as you can tell, we're getting really close to the wheat. I might be able to finish off with this 280 gallon. It'll be really close. It looks about like 6 or 8 passes. We'll just have to see once I get there. But I do have to take into account, I'm gonna have to do about 3 passes on the turn rows on this end, and then 3 passes on this end. So we'll see how it goes. I might be able to get away with 2, I don't know. We'll have to see once I do it if there's any overlap on that second pass. If not, I'll have to do a 3rd one real quick on each side. But we're getting close, about to get done and head over to the next field. So earlier in the video I talked about how I found a chain hook. Well, as you can see, had something wrapped up. This one, there wasn't really any trash, so it was pretty hard to see. But anyways, this is what happened. Something got wrapped up in this fertilizer disc, and it got caught, because here at the front, they're right together, and then they widen up at the back. So, looks like it might be part of a chain. So what I had to do is I had to sit down in front of it, then put my feet on both sides and push. And just like that, got it. Think what it was is probably turned a little bit. And it probably went in like that, then got turned around somehow, and then got widened out. Second part of a chain just today.